The United States and Iran are locked in a standoff, trading a list of demands that seem impossible to resolve. Headlines usually focus on nuclear enrichment or the lifting of economic sanctions, but the demand carrying the greatest threat to the global economy is geographic: the creation of a permanent toll booth directly over the Strait of Hormuz. This map shows the Strait of Hormuz at its absolute narrowest point. The territorial waters of Iran and Oman overlap directly in the middle, leaving no high seas international corridor connecting the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. Despite that tight geography, international maritime law guarantees free, unhindered passage for merchant vessels. The U.S. Navy has actively enforced that right for decades to ensure global trade continues to flow. Forcing the world to pay a toll here represents a calculated assault on the legal framework that underpins the U.S.-led global order. Iran's pricing demand is specific: $2 million per vessel. Since these are supertankers carrying millions of gallons of fuel, that breaks down to a fee of about $1 per barrel of oil. During recent escalations in the conflict, Tehran improvised a version of this system. They allowed commercial ships through only after receiving safety fees paid in cryptocurrency or Chinese yuan. To many global consumers, paying a single extra dollar per barrel sounds like a manageable administrative cost, especially compared to the economic damage of a total blockade. However, this fee grants Tehran permanent mechanical leverage, allowing them to squeeze the Arab Gulf economies and global inflation at will. This diagram illustrates spare capacity, latent oil production rapidly brought online within 30 days to rescue the global market during a supply shock. Saudi Arabia and the Gulf Cooperation Council hold massive leverage, controlling up to 95% of this global spare capacity. Holding these reserves turns the Gulf Arab states into the central bank of global energy, granting them power to drive global inflation up or down. This influence is predicated on the GCC's ability to export that production freely through the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran controls the toll, they seize that superpower status from Saudi Arabia. They gain direct ability to throttle competitor tankers and manipulate global oil prices whenever they choose. This creates an agonizing geopolitical calculus for Washington and the incoming administration regarding how to settle the war. Option A is keeping the strait totally closed. This spikes oil by $40 a barrel, crashes the global economy, and hands Russia up to $150 billion in windfall profits to fund its war machine. Option B is accepting the $1 toll. This immediately stabilizes global prices and starves Russian profits. But the United States must allow Iran to collect billions of dollars annually in extortion money. Because the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps would manage the strait, every shipping firm that pays the toll directly funds the regime's regional proxy wars. America must choose between intentionally crashing the global economy to spite Iran or surrendering the world's most critical waterway to a sworn enemy. Artificial waterways like the Suez and Panama canals are legally permitted to charge tolls. They exist entirely within sovereign land and require heavy physical maintenance and dredging to remain operational. Naturally occurring straits are different. International maritime law forbids nations from placing financial barriers or taxes over these waterways. Validating an Iranian toll booth breaks that legal framework, creating a precedent that other nations will inevitably exploit. Denmark could cite Iran and demand taxes on Russian oil leaving the Baltic Sea. Turkey could scrap old treaties and begin charging exorbitant new fees for ships passing through the Bosphorus. Conceding to this extortion creates a global contagion, transforming every major maritime choke point on Earth into a potential hostage situation. The ability to ship goods safely and freely across the globe is a massive historical anomaly. It is a modern privilege, protected and enforced by the U.S. Navy. Before the end of World War II, global trade was severely restricted by empires enforcing sound dues and pirates demanding tribute for safe passage. If free trade breaks down, nations worldwide will be forced to massively reinvest in their own independent navies just to secure their vital supply lines. The explosive wealth and interconnectedness of modern globalization relies entirely on the shared trust that the oceans belong to everyone.
Sacrificing that trust in the Persian Gulf means the end of the Pax Americana, as the oceans revert from a shared commons back into a patchwork of taxed and contested corridors.